During and after World War I, Japan engaged in rapid expansionism. They rapidly conquered islands and Manchuria, leading to the breakout of and in Japan's involvement in World War II. Japan's expansionism started in World War I. In September and October of 1914, Japan took over the Pacific German colonies. Japan was allied to Britain during World War I. To help weaken Germany, Japan took over the German Pacific colonies. This was their extent of the World War I expansionism.
During the interwar years, Japan was experiencing some social and political changes. During this time, the country was a constitutional monarchy and the prime minister was appointed by the emperor. At this time, Japan is, and always was, a nationalist society. As the years went on, Japan experienced a rise in militarianism and propaganda, leading to the already nationalist country developing ultranationalism. In January 1920, the League of Nations was formed. Since Japan fought in World War I, they joined the League.
At the same time, the Japanese people began pushing for democracy. They wanted to be able to choose their prime minister and have it not appointed by the emperor. Since 1889, Japan has been adopting Western customs, and the country is continuing their adoption of Western ideals and customs during the interwar years. Directly after the war, Japan's economy was prospering, as war is profitable for an economy, although not long after they hit an economic crash, marking the start of instability and civil unrest. This led to events such as the rice riots of 1918 and the Showa crisis of 1927. The Showa crisis was caused by post-war economic slowdown and the 1923 Kanto earthquake. This was a foretaste for the Great Depression, which would plague the country for years after.
All of these factors combined increased Japanese nationalism from ordinary nationalism to ultranationalism. Nationalism is the identification with one's own nation and support for its interests, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interests of other nations. Ultranationalism is the extreme nationalism that promotes the interests of one's state or people above all others. Let's talk about the key people in this saga. In Japan, our key people are Emperor Hirohito, Prime Minister Fumimaro Kono, and General Hideki Tojo. In China, our key people are Commander Chiang Kai-shek and Commander He Yingqin. In Germany, the key person is Albert Hall.
On December 25th, 1926, Emperor Taisho died.
Father, you called?
My son, I don't think I'll make it past tonight. Please take care of the country.
I will, Father.
Ugh.
Damn. Yay, now I'm the Emperor!
Emperor Taisho died on Christmas Day of 1926 of a heart attack, though he had other health complications during his life and right before his death. Taisho's death led to the coronation of Emperor Hirohito. The Mukden Incident. China, what's this?
What's what?
This?
It's just a railroad track.
God damn it! Still your fault! The Mukden incident was an attempt by the Japanese to frame the Chinese for blowing up a crucial railroad. The explosion was so weak that it failed to blow up the railroad, and a train passed over a few minutes later. The Mukden incident was a failed false flag, an attempt to pin the incident on the Chinese.
Mukden incident was the catalyst to the 1931 Japanese invasion of Manchuria. In September 1931, Japanese troops marched into Manchuria. In February of 1932, the Japanese had achieved a full military takeover of Manchuria. On March 1st, 1932, the Japanese instated Manchukuo, a puppet state in the Manchuria area. During Japan's invasions, their thing was the three alls: kill all, burn all, and loot all. Japan, you can't take over places. That goes against what we stand for.
Screw you, I do what I want.
No, don't do that!
Because of the invasion of Manchuria, the League of Nations was angry with Japan. Since the League of Nations existed to prevent countries from taking over the world, Japan's invasion of Manchuria violated this purpose. In March 1933, Japan left the League of Nations. Japan stayed in Manchukuo for a couple years, until 1937. In July 1937, Japanese soldiers started to invade Greater China. It started with the Marco Polo Bridge incident, a conflict between Japanese and Chinese troops that escalated into a full-scale invasion. Some of the battles in this invasion included the Beiping-Taizhen Battle, the Battle of Shanghai, and the Battle of Nanjing.
The Nanjing Massacre, also known as the Rape of Nanjing, was a point where Japanese ultranationalism came to a head. This took place after the Japanese won the Battle of Nanjing. This was a massacre that lasted for 6 weeks. Hundreds of thousands were murdered by Japanese troops, and tens of thousands of women and children were raped. The three alls were especially present in this massacre: kill all, burn all, loot all. How did national interest drive expansionism, and how did nationalism influence foreign policy? Well, Japan's national interest was expansionism. They wanted more power and resources. This meant that they were imperialist, and expansionism was the key to obtaining that imperial goal. As for foreign policy, the Japanese thought that they were the superior Asian race. Because of this, their foreign policy was aggression towards all other nations and invading them. Three alls, kill all, burn all, and loot all, was their policy for the places that they invaded.
Other countries at this time tried to condemn Japan's actions, specifically the invasion of Manchuria, although Japan didn't listen and responded by leaving the League of Nations that was condemning their invasion. So these actions were not effective. Since they were taking over parts of Asia, this would inevitably lead to tensions that would lead to World War II. So was this inevitable? Well, even before World War I, Japan was taking over places in Asia, such as Taiwan and Korea. So with things continuing the way they were, Japan's rapid expansionism was inevitable.
What can we learn? Well, we can learn that when national interests and conflicts are intertwined, it leads to a rise in nationalism. If nationalism gets too out of hand, destruction and chaos can reign. So don't let your nationalism become ultranationalism so history doesn't repeat itself.